Welcome back to another episode of the Bear Trap on the Boom Bust channel, Bears podcast by a Bears fan. I'm your host Terry, and today let's talk about Eberflus and the Bears. I'm moving towards recovery. It has been a good 2 days in progress. I pray for return to full health and sustained health, because now I'm absolutely terrified to do anything now that I'm a little bit mobile again, but we're getting there. So, if you have any prayers, energy, thoughts, any of that, just keep them up for your boy. All right. So look, this is not going to be a fun conversation. It's probably going to be a short listen time, and that's fine, because people don't like to hear the truth. People don't want to hear the truth, especially when it comes to football. And that's cool. If you're one of those people that are going to get upset at me telling you the truth, then you probably shouldn't be listening to my analysis anyway, because that's what we do. It's better Bears fans over here. So I'm gonna just tell you like it is. It's a frustrating discussion because it's deja vu all over again. I told you, anybody that's been a listener for some time, you know exactly what's going on. We were here with Nagy and Trubisky, and then we were here once again with I am completely forgetting coaches now. No, it wasn't Nagy. Who was before Nagy? Was it John Fox? That was a short one. Anyway, doesn't matter. We were here. We were here before. We've been here. Is it Trubisky? Is it Nagy? Is it the play calling? Is it the O-line? Is it this? Is it that? What was the conclusion that I told you? I told you, look, it is all of it. Different times on different plays. Some plays it's the quarterback, some plays it's the O-line, some plays it's the play call, sometimes it's a combination. And the fact of the matter is, that's all of football for every single team that ever existed. And I don't know what to tell you. Like, that's just what it is. If you're in the coaching profession or whatever, some realm of football at a high level, you know that's the truth. I would never in my life, and that's probably the wrong thing to do, but I would never in my life believe an NFL coach with experience actually believes, oh, this is just one, silver bullet thing. They know what they got to say to the media. They know what they got to say to the owner. But in the building, which is why they always say in the building, and when they always reference football people know what it is. We know what it is. You sit down. This ain't no guess. This ain't first take when you go in the building after a game. This ain't, oh, well, I wonder if it would. No, you know exactly the play call. You know who called the play call. You know who coached you. You know who told you what during practice. You know the player, every single player, what they did, what they were supposed to do. Everyone knows. There is no question marks. There are no question marks, excuse me. And so inside the building as football people, it might be boring, it might be redundant, but I'm sorry, this is what it is. It's the truth. It is a mix of things, whether it goes right or wrong. A lot of times, everyone wants to act like there's a silver bullet. That is such surface level football. Oh, well, it has to be Luke Getsy, the play caller. And I know he got fired from, I keep wanting to call them Oakland, Las Vegas, but look, it's Las Vegas. I don't care who you put in there. We know what that is over there. But either way, not just pointing him out. Just an example. Whoever you want to name. I don't care if it's Ken Dorsey in Buffalo, if it's taking play calling duties in Philly. Everybody wants to drill it down to one person, and I'm telling you, that's not how it goes. And so we did this. with Trubisky, Nagy. We did this with Fields, Nagy. That's who it was. That's the third combination I was thinking of. We did this when we switched over with Eberflus. We did all this before. We done the should they fire, blah, 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 the GM. Should we keep Ryan Pace? Did he do a good job of fire Nagy? We did all this. It's the same cycle. And I'm here to tell you, despite what you think, this whole idea that, oh, well, they didn't get hired and synced up at the same time. That does not matter. It does not matter at all. Everyone wants to keep acting like there's some blueprint. Trust me, if there was a blueprint, every team would be fighting to do it. There is no blueprint. And this is why I don't understand, specifically Chicago. I know, especially now, I know every fan base is about the same level of stupidity, the same level of just over emotional reaction. I get it. I'm sure every radio show and blah, 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 but this is the bubble we live in. And for our specific context, because of our history, we keep saying the same thing, even though, did we just forget we came off the offensive-minded head coach? We need the offensive-minded head coach. We need the offensive-minded head coach for our young quarterback. We did that. And there's plenty of them sitting on the street now or no longer with their team. That does not mean anything. It doesn't mean anything. And this idea, well, we got to hire this person to sync up the contract. It does not mean anything. Oh, I'm not going to say it doesn't mean anything, but in terms of correlation from doing that to results, it means almost nothing. Now, I agree. Look, organizations for football is the same as organizations anywhere. But that matters with the owner. To be honest, a lot of that doesn't matter. I don't care if you lined everybody up. They held hands while they all signed their contracts together. It doesn't matter. If the owner undermines you, then it don't matter. Because that's what you see in Dallas. The power dynamics matter, but everybody knows who has the power. And so the owner ultimately gets to F that up if they want. Now, we haven't had that type of team. The owner's not necessarily going to be strolling around, doing radio interviews, undermining what the coaches said. We don't have that type of world. So that, yes, power dynamics matter. But in the terms of the football, that doesn't matter. I don't understand how the Bears community gets so wrapped up in the same conversations. Like, do y'all pay attention to what's going on? It ain't hard. Let's just make it simple. Let's make it as easy, more easy than it probably should be. Let's look at the winners. Who are the winners? Who are the winners? Who are high standards? Obviously the Chiefs. Last time I checked, they didn't all come in together. Last time I checked, Andy Reid has brought in different coaches that he felt comfortable with. They switched coaches on the staff. Fine. Last time I checked, Andy Reid got kicked out of Philly because he couldn't win. And so once we get to the point now, oh, well, now it's the magic touch. Anything he does is right, blah, blah, blah. That's a silly way to look at it. San Fran, Shanahan signed off on John Lynch getting hired. John Lynch has said that openly. And if you new to listening to me, by the way, I just need to say, I personally think a GM hiring a head coach is the dumbest thing ever. I don't think a head coach needs to be involved in picking or needs to handpick the GM. I do think they need to be involved in the process to make sure this is somebody that I can communicate with. But a GM being over a head coach is idiotic to me. But I'm not going to sit here and say it can't work that way. That's the problem with a lot of these fans and these talking heads. It can't work that way. Yes, it can. Yes, it can. There are a million ways to skin a cat. There is no one structure that works. So we can go around the league over and over. Same discussion that I had with Stephen A. Well, wait, was it Stephen A. Smith? It was Stephen A. Smith. So maybe I didn't have this discussion on here. But who was he talking about? I think he was talking about us. Maybe I did. Anyway, I think he had mentioned that the offense was not doing well. And even though that Eberflus has a defensive background, then he still, because he's the head coach, he has to put the blame on Eberflus, because as the head coach, it's not just about one side of the ball. And as I said, if I'm repeating myself, I'm sorry. Where's that energy for Dan Campbell? Where's that energy for Sean McVay? Y'all, so you said the same thing about Robert Saleh. He gets fired because the offense is also on him, which it is, but he gets fired, the defense gets worse, and the offense still is not good. Not only did you fire him, you fire the offensive coordinator too. Switch that up, still bad. I just like, narratives and entertainment is fine, but when we're talking real football and we're having discussion as fans, I need people to be a lot smarter. Because this idea that we have to get an offensive minded head coach that's synced up with the contract with this and blah, 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 is so dumb. Like, I get the one pushback that we don't want him having to flip-flop systems, 1 year to the other. Then don't fire the coach. That's not hard. If you have a coach that it should be fired, fire them. If you have a coach that you think that you have no reason to fire, don't fire them. And that's not hard to me. That's really not hard to me. I don't care what the contracts are and when lined up and who hired who. I don't care about that. We've had teams where the brass didn't draft the quarterback and they make it work. We've had teams where the quarterback stayed past the last brass and it works. Like, come on, man. There is no one trick pony to this. So this idea that we have to fire Eberflus for what? Like, let's get to Eberflus now. What exactly do we need to fire him for? I said this last year. I mentioned a poll. Now we're back at it again. What are we firing him for? Let you break it down. And I wish people would line up to call in. I don't get paid for this, so I don't care about the numbers, but I wish people would line up to call in to make their arguments, because I guarantee you there isn't a single argument that makes any sense. Unless you're somebody in the building that has some actual information, I guarantee none of the arguments make sense. Like, and people keep repeating it year after year with every different team, ours and other teams. Well, we want to get a jump start on the head coach. What does firing your head coach change about your ability to get a start on the search? If you want to start searching, nothing is stopping you from searching. Poles does not run practice. None of his team runs practice. None of the front office runs practice. The owners don't run practice. Like, I heard them talking about the Cowboys and stuff. Same discussion. Not me saying it. This is Adam Schefter saying, what's the point of firing Mike McCarthy? What does that get you? And that's the same thing I'm saying. Like, if you don't want to bring him back, fine. I don't agree with that. We could get to that. But say you don't want to bring him back. There's nothing stop. First of all, you can't talk to any current coaches. That's tampering. So Bill Belichick, who I doubt we're going to look at, but just for an example, there's a coach out there you want to talk to. Nothing's stopping you from doing that. Firing Eberflus does not help you then talk to any other candidates. That means absolutely nothing. And so once again, so in terms of the structure, of the team. Same thing with the Jets. Let's look at what our issues are with the team. Okay, the issues are this and that. Like I said, everyone in the building knows who's responsible for what. On the outside, we might be guessing, but in the building, they know. So we're having troubles with XYZ. Is that an Eberflus problem? No, it's not. But let's fire Eberflus anyway. What? It doesn't make sense. And so on top of all of that, because all the different excuses or whatever are dumb. They're dumb. And listening to the radio is probably a bad idea because I listened to a whole bunch of dumb today. And so these people who are so, well, he just doesn't seem like the guy. Shut up. That irks me more than anything because I'm somebody that works with equitable hiring practices, so that irks. Ooh, that blows my mind. I don't want to hear that. So I don't care if you don't like how he talks, you don't like the way he dresses, blah blah blah, whatever. Everybody said the craziest things about Dan Campbell. Oh, they ain't got nothing to say now. They said the craziest things about Mike McDaniels. They ain't had nothing to say once his team was putting up 70. So I don't care about how he comes across to you. And he doesn't feel like a guy. He doesn't feel right in Chicago. He's not the Chicago guy. Shut up. It has nothing to do with the actual team. And so what does it mean as we sit here today to fire Eberflus? It means nothing except tanking this season. Now, do we want to tank the season? I highly doubt it. We're 500, halfway point through the season. Play the game. As I said yesterday in the recap, you have to just go through it. It's this microwave. Obviously the people that are winning now or have had some success, no one even wants to talk about the progress towards that. They just revel in the success. Everybody looks at it. I want that. You're not just going to turn around and get it. You have to go through something. And people throwing out these numbers and stuff, which is fine. And again, some of these conversations are legit, but do keep in mind they tanked the first season he was here. That ain't a referendum on his coaching. That was what the team decided to do. And I've told y'all before, I don't know that I feel like he's a head coach type of guy. And I've warmed up to it since then, but I still, as I said, I'm not fully bought in. But in no way do I think we need to fire Eberflus. For what? There's literally nothing being said that I've heard personally from national, local, or fans that makes any sense. And so you people just have to get over the fact that football is a team sport. There's 11 people on the field at a time, which means there's 11 assignments at a time, which means stuff goes wrong a lot. Go to your favorite, or not your favorite, but go to your highest rated team, your highest rated player, your highest rated unit, defense, offense, quarterback, whatever. And I guarantee you watch the film, you watch all the film, what you gonna see? Hella mistakes. This idea that winning cures all is idiotic. This idea that a win is a win is idiotic. And that's why you have fans that act the way they act now. Shannon Sharp said it best. And I've had, not personally, but I've coached with coaches that have similar mentalities. You never accept anything in a win that you wouldn't accept in a loss. So we as a celebrity society in the US, but also in football, want to work off this. Hey, you produce, we let you do what you want. No. If you were going to bench Tyreek Stevenson, which I didn't like the way they handled that, but if you felt strong enough to bench him because of what he did, I don't care where that ball lands. I don't care if we win or lose. Bench him. And so if we win that game, you're like, oh, it's forgiven. That's the problem. And that's the mentality all these fans have. If we win, oh, well, you know, that's not an issue. And everybody they want to compare to, well, this team does this and this coach does this. You won't watch their film. You don't know the flaws because you don't listen to it. All you listening to is the wins or the numbers they put up. They have flaws too. They have issues too. And again, I'm not saying we're perfect. What I definitely am saying, most fans have zero clue enough to even say whether we're bad or not. But then even on top of that, from what I watch and what I know, they're not bad enough. They're not the worst in the league to sit here and say they need to be fired. There needs to be changes and things, but we got to accept there's just parts that you just not going to know. You just won't know. And so the answer from the outside is always, well, just fire people. And it's just so dumb. It's so dumb that owners allow outside influence to push their decisions. And now you cleaning house and starting over and ain't nothing getting better. Like, continuity is important. It's extremely important. And it's just crazy. It's like if you're a new business or you're in a young relationship or like anything like that, I think it's pretty common sense to say, well, we can't be like, oh, things are not going the way we thought, so let's just blow it up. But for some reason in football, that's what they think. Let's just blow it up. Let's just blow it up. You don't think it'd be important to learn how to work through these things? Like, come on, man. It's just so silly. So anyway, in terms of looking at the team and kind of how we're performing and how everybody's feeling about everything, again, I don't know that Eberflus is number one in situational football and all those things. Like I said, I do feel like he's changed my feelings on him as a leader in terms of galvanizing the locker room and his operation in general in terms of how he runs things. I think it's been pretty solid. Now, I'm not there for practice, to be honest. Again, fans, we judge coaches on the wrong stuff. Any actual coach, when you ask about another coach, one of the first things they're gonna do is go to their practice. We don't even know what that looks like. And so probably one of the number one things that you would get judged on, we as fans don't even see that. Because I guarantee you, like the Belichicks, which we know, but the Tomlins too, guys like that have great practice and structure, they tend to correlate to guys that win over time, or at least have disciplined teams. So I don't know his practice structure and all that, but I do know that he's able to communicate, create and communicate a vision that the team can kind of rally under. The idea that they don't play for him is crazy. They've played wild for him, especially on defense. It's just what it is. And to think that we're going to bring in somebody else and it's going to be different all of a sudden, like Caleb is who he is. He's going to react and he's going to learn the way he learns. He's going to play the way he plays. He's going to be coached the way he's coached, no matter if it's Eberflus or the next guy. And the offensive line as it currently is going to play the way they got to play. They got to get better. And yes, we could upgrade eventually and all those different things, upgrade the roster. That's fine, but that's not an Eberflus thing. So I don't get the sentiment other than being frustrated. And now I hear a lot of people pissed off about Keenan Allen. Really? These hindsight revisionist history now. First of all, I don't think Keenan was a mistake. We do have to be better on offense. And I know I've said many times there's some cool stuff we're doing. I do think there is, and I do think there's a different quarterback and a different team where this system would be lighting stuff up. But at the end of the day, You have to adjust to what you have. What we have offensive line wise and what they like to do, what Caleb likes to do, we need to adjust. I mentioned that. I've pointed it out in film. And so not letting them off the hook for that. That definitely needs to be better. Caleb will have to go through his growing pains and he'll have to get better. But this idea that we're going to turn around and be like, oh, why did we take a tack or a punter in the 4th round? Why did we get Keenan Allen? This is so dumb. Like, I can't stand people that sit around, wait for the results, and then try to complain. Like, stop it. Stop it. There was nothing outside of the offensive line free agency that was really a mistake in this offseason. And I said that, and I remember people, why are you talking about these guards that getting signed? Why are you talking about all the guards that are getting signed? And again, we have a few better Bears fans that tap in and understand. You need to understand the league and you need to understand football in order to be a better Bears fan. Like, just because it isn't labeled specifically Bears, that doesn't mean that it's something you should ignore. So we sit here now, then those same people, well, who do you think we should trade for? Who's available? Well, if you listen, nobody, because the market has shrunk. If you listen, years ago when I said the spread offense was hurting the offensive line development, you would have understood. If you would have listened when I said that the money going in interior linemen has shown what the market has shifted to in terms of availability, you would understand where we are. That doesn't mean we couldn't have got something. We could have. And again, that was one of the mistakes. One that I didn't think would bite us too bad. Look, Poles wanted Bates real bad. 2 years in a row. Finally got him. I'm thinking, okay, let's see what he got. Never did anything. That's a whiff. For whatever reasoning he wanted Bates, whether misjudged talent, whether he's hurt, whatever, it's a whiff. Nate Davis, wasn't a big fan of him. We got him though. We put, like everyone said, we didn't put resource to the O-line. We have 4 starters return, and you only had one guy to replace. So I really, and then you drafted a lineman and you signed, I don't know, whatever. Fans are going to just be delusional at the end of the day. I'm not saying Poles did an excellent job, but the blanket statement, we didn't put resource to the O-line, is just not true. You were bringing back 4 to 5 starters, first of all, and the position that you were replacing, you got 2 guys, and then you drafted another tackle. So, yeah, we put plenty of resources into it, but in terms of the guys that I liked and that I wanted, no, we didn't get those guys. And yes, it would probably be better if we had some of them. And then in the draft, I don't care. Look, I had that conversation all draft season. You can go back and listen if you didn't hear it. I understand, especially now knowing where everybody went. Still, I understand there was moves to go back, potentially get one of these interior linemen and all that. I'm taking Rome Odunze. I'm taking Rome Odunze if I can have Rome Odunze. And as I said, the only player that I would even have considered besides Odunze would have been Joe Alt. That's it. That's just the facts of how draft prospects lay out. I'm not dipping back to the 20s from a top 10 pick to get an interior offensive lineman if I gotta get Rome Odunze. And then, like I said, the Keenan Allen, look, I said on film, and maybe I'll show it later when I do it, we don't have a lot of burst. Now, DJ Moore, for whatever people want to say, not a route runner. Wasn't a route runner coming out of Maryland. Just never really been one. And I've said, like, he turned himself to a really good receiver. I've said many times, receivers have got to a place where they can win a lot of ways, but that doesn't mean they're good at everything. That's not his thing. He's not a route runner. He hasn't really super sudden either. Rome Odunze, Schreider, not super sudden. Keenan Allen, never super sudden, very older, very much older now, doesn't have a lot of burst. Komet, he's a tight end. So yeah, we don't get immediate separation. And so I could give you that, but that's across the board, and that's for the Waldron to figure out how to better utilize them. But to sit here and say that Keenan Allen is a bust and all this, ridiculous. To sit here and get mad that we got Torrey Taylor. What, you really thought we were just gonna flip a 4th round pick and go to the 2nd round? Like, man, the hindsight Henrys, that's what I'm gonna call them, because that's just came to my mind. These hindsight Henrys, crazy. So look, I just came here to say there's no reason to fire Eberflus. There's no upside. You fire him and then what? Shane Waldron takes over, who y'all don't like already. Or I know his name is Washington. Is it Eric? I don't know. But the D coordinator takes over. You already think the defense slipping. He takes over his first year with the team. What do y'all think firing Eberflus does? I really want to know. And I already know I said there's no argument that makes sense to me, but go ahead anyway. Go to the comment section. Let me know what you think, because I am very curious what it is that people think is going to happen from fire Eberflus. Like, I'm not sitting here saying 100% he has to come back next year. That's not my argument. My argument is nothing changes if you do it right now for this season. So go to the comment section. Let me know. Share around, get the conversation started. Thumbs up, subscribe. Remember to go vote. Stay up and bear down.